Gerhard, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all here to the 2023 Johnson County Hall of Fame event. It's great to see so many Democrats here to honor some accomplishments of wonderful Democrats. What's happened in Des Moines and in Washington, we have to work that out for us. We need to do all we can to get Democrats elected here in Johnson County, in our sister counties, around the state, and especially to put a Democrat as our first district representative in Washington. So, to get that done, we totally understand we must have no off years. We are not waiting for until next year. We have finalized a focused, bold, get-out-the-vote plan that was unanimously approved recently by our Senate committee, and that implementation has already started. It's very clear we need to do all we can, and we start with everyone in this room. And you've already done this by donating tonight, so thank you for that. Not only do we need everyone in this room, but we need our elected leaders, we need labor, we need university Democrats, we need our rural precincts, we need grassroots groups, we need teachers, we need our ongoing focused Latino initiative group, we need all stakeholders to get that done. So follow our newsletter that we send out weekly. And how do we get to that newsletter?
jcdems.org.
Yes, jcdems.org. Scroll to the bottom page and sign up for that newsletter. That's where you're going to find out everything we're up to. So a big thank you for pitching in and really being part of this Hall of Fame tonight. But before we start, honor our Democrats, well, housekeeping, the restrooms, to your right, that way. Cash bar, I noticed many of you have found that. That's still open, and it's there to your left. And we have the room until 11 o'clock tonight. So we're going to have a lot of time for a lot of fun. So to get started, we're going to start with our national anthem. And now please rise if you are able for our national anthem, performed by mezzo-soprano Mary Jane Knight, who has appeared around the country as concert soloist in theaters, operas. She teaches voice at Kirkwood College and maintains the Nightingale Voice Studio in the historic Hobbit House in Iowa City. Mary Jane.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose
before we go to the awards tonight, I want to thank all of our sponsors tonight. I'm going to start off with a big thank you to our Senate leader for the Democrats, Zach Walls. Thank you for your donation. Donation from Christina Bohan. Thank you, Christina. The Great Plains Laborers District Council Iowa PAC Fund. The Iowa City Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO. We got Julie Person's family, thank you. Laborers 143. We got Margaret Nelson, Becky Taylor, Jean Lynn, and Susan Enzel, and Nate Wong. Thank you. We also have some very generous other sponsors, Pat Bauer and Chris Luzzi, Laura Burgess, former State Senator Joe Bolkcom, Roseanne and James Cook, Marianne Gilbert, Peter and Katie Hampton, thank you, Jim Hayden, Bruce and Brenda Hecox, State Representative Dave and Lynette Jacoby, Doug and Beverly Jones, John and Claudia Knudsen, and former State Representative Mary Mascher. Continuing on, we have Bonnie and Brian McAreavy. You'll see her later tonight. John Menninger, Margaret Nelson, State Representative Amy Nelson, Jessica Carden, and County Recorder Campaigner, Jennifer Seidel, Ann and Shell Stromquist, Roger and Sally Stephan, and State Senator Janice Weiner. And we've got a lot of other donations here. You can find all those in your program. So again, thank you for everyone here that donated tonight. Really appreciate it. Next, I want to really honor some of our past Hall of Famers, and if they would stand, if they're able. We've got Pat White, where are you? Pat, right here. John and Beverly Jones, where are you? Roscoe, where are you? Roscoe, right over here. We have Carla Smith and Matt Mathis. Where are you? Right back here. There they are. Thank you. Did I mention the Hall of Famers? Pauline. Nick are the only guy I know that's ever been on the cover of the Rolling Stone. And now he's here tonight. And there he is. And where are you guys? Now, did you guys sneak in or what? Hey, thanks for coming. Thank you. Pauline, I got you later as well. You're going to be mentioned eventually. Sorry about that. So, again, Rita Hart is not able to join us tonight. She had planned on it. I talked to her just recently. Family came in. They're not going to be here tomorrow, so I said, be with the family. So, we'll miss her though. We have some state senators here tonight, though. We have our Iowa Senate Democratic leader, Zach Walls. We have our state senator, Janice Weiner. And we have the first woman elected to the Iowa Senate Democratic leader as a Democratic leader, Janet Peterson. We also have some we've got some great supervisors. We have the chair of the Johnson County Board of Supervisors, Lisa Green Douglas. And of course, we have Rod Sullivan, who's also on the planning committee. John Green, where's the hat? There he is. And her B, Pixner or Ray, is right back here. Our new county attorney, Rachel Zimmerman Smith. We have the best auditor in the state of Iowa, Travis Weipert. And we want to have a continuing sheriff in town, and that's Brad Congo. We also have some Democrats that are city council members. Pauline Taylor, would you please? We have Sean Harmson. Where are you, Sean? Right there. And Laura Burris, right back here. Thank you, Laura. And we have a new one, Andrew Dunn, Party City. Okay, anyone I missed? Mayor Corville, right here. Thank you. There we go. Now, also I'd like to do it just real quickly. All the executive committee members for the Johnson County Democrats, would you please stand? That includes our new vice chair, Dan Feltus, who's really doing a great job with our Get Out the Vote. Where are you, Dan? In the back. Right back there, Dan. We've got our second vice chair, Andrew Dunn over here. We have Kiran Patel, and that you can find her at the table. And Henry Taylor right there on the end. And eventually, sorry, Ashley.
I switched sides.
She's right over there. Now, I think you really need to notice her shoes. She's got some really cool looking shoes on. We also have Julie Persons, who we'll see later tonight. And I think that's it. That's not it. Okay. The person that's really handling all the money tonight is Suzanne Darcet. Janet Lawrence. Thank you, Janet. Okay. It's time for some awards. So, our first award tonight is the 2023 Major Impact of the Year Award. And that award goes to Bill Gerhard. Bill has been a member of the Laborers Union for the last 53 years. He was elected to many positions: business manager of Iowa City Local 1238, the Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota Laborers District Council, Secretary Treasurer of the Great Plains Laborers District Council, and is currently president of the Iowa State Building and Construction Trades Council, and is vice president of the Iowa Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO. Bill has a solid background, but this past year, Bill has made a major impact on the success of the Johnson County Democrats by being instrumental in forming the Johnson County Democrats Legacy Leadership Club fundraiser. And what he has done, he has arranged for outstanding speakers. You can be part of this. The outstanding speakers have been former U.S. Representative Jim Leach, who is now a Democrat. Pulitzer Prize winner Art Cullen, political reporter Laura Bellin, and LULAC political director Joe Henry.
Yes.
So we have those speakers, our next four. So if you want to join this club, you get to hear these four plus all the ones next year. And coming up, we have Zach and Amy to tell us our leaders in the legislature. We have Todd Dorman from the Gazette. We have Senator Tom Harkin in September. And we have former First Lady Christy Bilstein. So again, Bill, coming up, it's my pleasure to award
part of what we end up doing is that Legacy Leadership Club, where we have speakers 6 times a year come. We have a brown bag lunch at the Ashton House. And I want to thank the committee members of that committee, which would be Dave Lesh, Anne Marie Taylor, Bob Gorski, Ed Cranston, and Rachel Zimmerman-Smith. We meet often to come up with who the speakers are going to be, and also whether we have a box lunch or a smorgasbord lunch. If you know of anyone that would be a good speaker, let one of us know and we'll put them on the list. So I want to thank my committee, our committee for the work they do. Then I just want to leave you with one thought too, and I think this has all dawned on us in the past 2 years, that we're not dealing with the Republican Party of our grandfathers. There's a party down there that's mean-spirited, that's vindictive, that has a bent toward being autocrats. We have to do everything we can to sort of make that not happen. There's an old saying in construction: if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. We need to think bigger, we need to think bolder, we need to think outside the box. We need to do more, we need to give more, we need to raise more money. We need to overachieve here in Iowa City and Johnson County, because so many of the other counties are bright red. We just need to do more, and if we don't do more, talk about legacy. Legacy is what you get from the people who came before you and what you give to the people that come after you. The legacy we're going to turn over our kids is not the Iowa that we all know and love. So thank you very much.
Well, our next award, it's my pleasure to award the 2023 Volunteer of the Year Award to Julie Persons. So what happens when an award-winning PR chair is called to work in Georgia to get 2 U.S. senators elected in the middle of the election cycle? Well, a volunteer like Julie Persons steps up without losing a step, creates the most informative, attractive Johnson County Democrats email newsletter, website, Facebook page that you can imagine. You are also noticing her work with these slides tonight, if I can just get them collected at the right time, and our evening program. Julie is efficient, she's clever, she's talented, and she's an extreme pleasure to work with. So let's give a big round of applause to our 2023 Volunteer of the Year, Julie Persons.
My friends asked me pretty recently why I started volunteering. I was very good at sitting on the couch and complaining, and I decided one day I should probably do something about that.
Woo!
This is something that I got roped into, so I hope it helps. It's going to be an interesting year.
Our next award is a very descriptive award, the Above and Beyond Award. That award goes to Bonnie McAreavy. Bonnie has been a lifesaver when a very talented Leah Jesse was recruited to Wisconsin to use her talents in the Wisconsin State Senate campaign. Last year, Bonnie stepped up, coordinated all of the JC Dems events, and was our go-to person in managing our campaign office and solving all kinds of issues. We just couldn't have gotten it done last year without Bonnie. So Bonnie is well deserving of this award. The 2023 Johnson County Democrats Above and Beyond Award goes to Lonnie McAreavy.
So when my husband and I moved back to Iowa full-time, just before COVID hit, number one, it wasn't the same state we left, but we were in the Zoom years. And so for 2 years, I didn't get to meet any of you face-to-face. Then last year, the dam broke, and the best thing about it is meeting so many of you and working with you. We've talked about this before, nobody does anything alone. So even in this room, if it wasn't for Seth Zimmerman to maintain our flow and help us move things around, and his lovely wife Wendy, who actually let him use the company van. She knows that. Nancy Porter, who's going to be here tonight, who stepped in and helped us at the fair with shifts we couldn't fill. And when we had another vacancy of a really talented person around the barbecue, she really made a lot of things happen for that, so we could put the barbecue on that we have. So many people. Suzanne, who already has a full-time job and then a full-time treasurer job, kept all those people who phone banked and worked at the office supplied with coffee and snacks and printer paper and everything else that we needed to do this past year. I'm going to admit something. In November, I kind of had a pity party for a while. I don't know if anybody else did. I had kind of an extended pity party because finally we went out to a basketball game, got COVID, and had no Christmas. So I wallowed for a while, and then I saw what was going on with Democrats in Johnson County, starting with our legislators. They knew they had an uphill battle in Des Moines, but they didn't just sit there and take it. They stood up, they spoke out, they made sure everybody knew what was right and what was wrong, what the differences were going to be. Potluck Insurgency put together this fantastic fundraiser to give our state party a big shot in the arm for building the organization that they need. Johnson County has, and you get excited all again, and you know that we can do more than we did last year and more than the year before. So thank you for the opportunity. It's been great getting to know so many of you and to working with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. And now I'd like to bring up Roseanne Cook to introduce our first Hall of Famer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Roseanne Cook. Very honored to have been asked to introduce Mary tonight, particularly when Mary told me that I would be taking the place of David Kobe, who is, I'm told, in Colorado with his family recuperating from the spring legislative session. He richly deserves to do that, so I'm delighted to step in for him tonight. When I thought about an organizing principle for introducing Mary tonight, I decided on a very simple framework that I would talk to you about Mary's past, Mary's present, and Mary's future. In case anybody wandered in here tonight who doesn't already know about Mary's past, here are some highlights. She is the 6th of 12 children born to Harry and Lucille Seelman on their Century Farm in Cosgrove, where I understand 3 of her brothers still run the farm. Maybe you're here tonight. After completing her undergraduate degree in elementary education at the University of Iowa, she later earned a master's in counseling and worked as a counselor and teacher in the Iowa City schools for 33 years, retiring in 2009. In 1994, Mary was elected to the Iowa House, where she served for 14 terms, retiring in 2022. During her career in the House, she served on many different committees and subcommittees, but throughout it all, she was an enduring advocate for women, children, and families. The list of Mary's activities in the community is long. She helped organize the first women's softball team in Iowa City. Since 1988, she has sung and acted in numerous productions of the Iowa City Community Theater and also served on their board of directors. She has been a member of the Iowa City Parks and Recreation Commission, the Iowa City Riverfront Commission, and was president of the Iowa City Education Association. Over the years, Mary has received numerous awards and honors for her service and leadership. The list is truly long and diverse, showing the breadth of Mary's commitment to many different groups in our community. Now, I mentioned that I am here tonight because Dave couldn't be, or should I say chose not to be. But I did consult him about what he might have wanted to say about Mary. He told me that the problem with Mary is that she is very shy, and you never know what she thinks about you. He also mentioned his favorite comment about Mary, one that he heard on more than one occasion from Republican colleagues in the House, and I quote Dave here, "Oh shit. Here comes Mascher." But recognizing that we are here tonight to toast Mary, not to roast Mary. Dave also talked about how good Mary was at remembering people's names and the issues they cared about, and that Mary could speak and listen with equal enthusiasm. Now, in my research on Mary's past, I also consulted Jean Bancroft, a good personal friend of Mary's, and I asked Jean if she had any good anecdotes to share about Mary. And she said, "Yes, I do, but none that are appropriate." So apparently we need to have another sort of party to hear those stories. So with that matter pending, let's move on to Mary's present. Unlike some in public life, i.e. Chuck Grassley, Mary had the wisdom to retire while she was young and healthy and able to pursue her own pleasures and interests. I know how much she loves having more time to spend with her family, son Jason, his wife Lindsay, and twin grandsons Aiden and Kale, who are juniors at West High School. Mary is also an avid gardener who completed the Master Gardener's course recently and is involved with their activities. You may have heard that Mary is building a house as this year's honoree of the Iowa Valley Habitat for Humanity Women Build project. She is frequently seen at plays and concerts and other events around town, and I think she goes out to lunch with friends just about every day. She also continues to actively support Democrats locally and across the state, as I know well from personal experience. I have worked with Mary on 2 successful fundraising events for Democrats in the last 8 months, and I can tell you that whatever you're doing, you want Mary on your team. She offers imaginative and sound advice, and she is one of those wonderful people who does what she says she will do. What's more, when she's done with that, she says, "I think we can do more, and here's what I'll do." Then she does it. Wow, who does that? Now, with regard to Mary's future, people often say you can't gaze into a crystal ball. But in the case of Mary, I have no misgivings about saying that we can do just that. I think all we need to do is to extrapolate from her past and her present to know that Mary will continue to be a loving and supportive grandmother to Aiden and Kale, an active and engaged member of the community, a fun person to be with, and a committed Democrat who will work hard to elect Democrats and help restore the values and compassion and good sense to the government of Iowa. In closing, I am so pleased that Dave left town. And I bid you very much.
Joe, I owe you an apology. I'm sorry, we were supposed to have this reversed and Joe was gonna go first, but okay. First of all, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight. What a great crowd and what a great group of Democrats. There's always an energy in the room when I'm with a group of Democrats, and I feel it here tonight. I wanted to start by acknowledging that we are on the traditional, ancestral, unceded land of the Bolkcom, or Iowa, Sauk, and Meskwaki peoples. We offer our respect to the elders of these people, both past and present, as well as future generations. And we recognize that our presence here today is the result of the ongoing exclusion and erasure of Indigenous people who were the original stewards of this land, and the violation of multiple treaties. We also reaffirm our commitment to lifting up the culture and protecting the rights of Indigenous peoples in Iowa. I want to thank start by thanking Roseanne Cook for her kind remarks and for keeping some of those stories secret. I do appreciate it. And I'm glad Dave wasn't here because he would have told some of those stories. Roseanne, you are a friend and a leader who's made a difference in our county. Your work with the potluck insurgency should be a model for rebuilding the party throughout the state. So I think we had mentioned, Bonnie had mentioned the fundraiser. Roseanne was the brainchild behind that fundraiser. We raised over $50,000 for the state party. I just helped. A big thank you to the Johnson County Democrats for this honor tonight, and a special thank you to Ed Cranston, our party chair. Let's give him a big applause. And Rod Sullivan, where are you? Rod, we need to give Rod a big round of applause. So I don't think there's any secret about Johnson County being the best Democratic county in the state. Are you right there? Yeah. We should all be proud of the work that we do here to elect Democrats up and down the ticket. If you were a former county party chair, would you stand, county party chairs? Because there's a number of them in the room. I saw them come in. Legacy for all of us. If you were or were on the Central Committee, would you stand? Central Committee members deserve that recognition. They're kind of the ones that do all of the groundwork. And during COVID, that was especially a challenge, but they met that challenge and then some. I want to congratulate, first of all, the other recipients. Joe Bolkcom, where are you? I know you're in the back there. Here we are. Joe, you've been an amazing state senator and leader in this community for a long time. I want to say what an honor it is to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with you tonight. So thank you. Bill Gerhard, Bonnie McAreavy, and Julie Persons. Those people are, again, the folks that are doing the work in our future. And so again, I'd like to give them a big round of applause. So I'll begin by thanking the people who elected me in House Districts 46, 77, and 86. There were 3 different redistricting during that time. After 28 years, I was very proud to represent the people of Johnson County because I felt like we represented all of you. Even if you weren't in my district, you still contacted us and you were still a part of our message in terms of the people we listened to and then spoke out on the floor of the House and the Senate because we knew how important that was. A very special shout out to the friends and supporters who did not live in my district but helped me and the other Democrats up and down at the local, state, and national level. You knocked doors, you stuffed envelopes, you made phone calls, you wrote checks out to support our campaigns, and I will forever be grateful to all of you. It's been an honor and a privilege to represent this area in Johnson County and at the state level. Jeanette Carter's right over here, and she had been my, Jeanette, wave to the crowd, come on. Jeanette was my treasurer for over 25 years. She's been a great friend and supporter ever since I worked with her at the public library when I was in high school. Thank you for all of your help, and I am so appreciative of your friendship. Thank you, Jeanette. And Senate members who are with us today, whether they were before or current, it's been an honor to serve with you. I was fortunate to begin my career in the legislature serving with Jean Lloyd Jones, Manette Doderer, Mary Newhouser, Dick Myers, Bob Dvorsky, Joe Bolkcom. We had a strong team of legislators at that time, and I want to publicly thank the team today because we have a great team in there now. Dave Jacoby, Amy Nielsen, Adam Zabner, Eleanor Levin, Zach Walls, and Janice Weiner. Thank you for your service. This is truly a special night for me because my parents, Harry and Lucille Silman, were in the first classes of honorees. On the back of your program, you'll see their names. Harry and Lucille Silman, 1997. When I look at that long list of those who have been selected, I am humbled by the giants who have come before me. Many of them were my mentors and teachers and helped me develop the leadership skills that allowed me to run for public office. My family's been a huge support over the years. My parents were leaders, political activists, and loving parents of 12 children. My mom was a nurse at Mercy Hospital and a community leader. She was the worker bee. You want to know where that comes from, Roseanne? She was the one everybody went to and said, will you help on our campaigns? They often had Dad's name on their brochures, but it was Mom who did the work. Just mention. My dad was a farmer who raised livestock, planted corn and soybeans, and he was the organizer who was elected to school board and became the chair of the National Farmers Organization in Johnson County. My parents taught us the importance of volunteering in our community and being actively involved in politics. I will be forever thankful for the lessons we learned from them. My sisters and brothers that followed in their path, and a special shout out to my sister Nan, who's with us tonight. Nan started out working at the Iowa City Press-Citizen some 30 years ago and ended her career as an editor for the Detroit News. So thanks for being here, Nan. My daughter-in-law, Lindsay, my grandsons, Kale and Aiden, thank you for your love and support. You've always been there for me. None of us could do these jobs without the love and support of our families, and I had both. Thank you for being here tonight. I love you all. I want to thank all my friends in the room. They are part of my village. Thank you for helping me become a better legislator. Thank you for helping me, or for trusting me to represent you in Des Moines. And thank you for working so hard to elect others who reflect our values. There are so many stories I could share with you about my time in the legislature. I could tell you about the time that Manette set her desk on fire in the House because of a forgotten cigarette. Yes, when I first came to the House, you could smoke on the floor. Or I could share with you the time Dick Myers got called to the well because of some inappropriate language on the floor of the House. We finally gave Dick a list of words he could not use while he was speaking. Right? They're all also share with you a memory of my grandsons coming to visit during spring break, exploring the cupola, which was the very top of the dome, and then the underground tunnels that connected all of the buildings on the grounds, and getting lost, I think, at one point. But what I'm going to share with you is our accomplishments during the time that we had the trifecta, which was the Democrats in control of the governor's office, the House, and the Senate. We accomplished so much during those years. We increased the minimum wage for workers in Iowa. Hasn't been increased since. All right, another goal. We included LGBTQ rights in the Civil Rights Code. Woo! We banned smoking in public places. We increased the tobacco tax. We implemented the solar tax credit. We increased our renewable energy portfolio by investing in wind and solar. Nearly 3/5 of our net generation comes from renewable resources, placing us second in the nation, just behind Texas. Think about that. Their land geography versus ours. The one that I'm most proud of, we implemented 4-year-old voluntary preschool, benefiting thousands of Iowa children. And I had the honor of organizing that. So why do I focus my comments on the past? Well, because when I entered the legislature in 1995, we had 36 Democrats and 64 Republicans. Eleanor, does that sound familiar? That's the numbers, the same today. This is identical to what we had in the House at that time. The pendulum will swing back. And when it does, we must be ready to put forth a progressive agenda that will move us forward as a state. It must be inclusive. It must recognize the rights of our gay, trans, and bisexual citizens, especially our children. It must be an agenda that seeks justice for all minorities and explores ways to establish true racial equality. It must be an agenda that respects teachers and empowers them to do what is best for their students. It must be an agenda that recognizes our mental health crisis and seeks treatment for those who need it. Our medical community and scientific community to make decisions based on facts, not misinformation. It must be an agenda that protects the elderly and assists them in finding the best ways to age in place. It must be an agenda that respects a woman and allows them to make their own health care decisions. Not only protects our environment, but recognizes global warming and its impact on our people. So we can do this. I know because we did it before, and I am not willing to give up on this state that I was born in and love so dearly. So the question is, are you with me? Yeah. If you are, I want to hear a hell yes. Thank you. It's been an honor. I appreciate this award.
Okay, thanks, Mary, for those inspiring words. We're so glad you're on our team. Yes. So now I'd like to bring up another Johnson County Democrats Hall of Famer from 2012, Pat White, to introduce our next Hall of Famer.
That Mary's inspired me. Am I correct that there are not any children here? All right. I want to add an agenda item. Assault weapons. The reason I bring that up tonight is
shooting at a mall in Allen, Texas. A young man worked in a hardware store there, and he called his father and told him there had been a shooting. His father rushed over to help, and as he approached the mall, he saw a young woman crouched, holding her hands over her face. He checked to see if she had a pulse, and it was faint. He turned her head, and she had no face. Chuck Grassley, Joni Ernst, Marionette Miller Meeks, Kim Reynolds, Jack Whitmer, Pat Grassley are not going to do a damn thing to stop that from happening. And we need to elect people who will. President Biden believes in it, by the way. Okay, it's all right. Well, I met Joe Bolkcom in, I think, 1988, which means 35 years ago. He was a young man employed in the Johnson County Department of Health as a planning and program director. And at the time he came there, the Johnson County Department of Health can fairly be described as a bit moribund. It did a decent job of checking septic systems and wells, but that was about the extent of its interest in public health. And things started to change when Joe got there. He began to get them to see that there was a problem with young people smoking, and that was affecting the nation's public health. He understood that water quality was a lot more than individual private wells. He saw the development of the maternal health program. In 1990, and also it was clearly apparent that he was a very bright young man, dedicated to improving public health. In 1992, he was elected to the Johnson County Board of Supervisors, a little bit atypical, with all due respect, to the Board of Supervisors at the time. And it quickly became apparent that his interests and drive and motivation were a lot broader than public health, but extended to the entirety of the human condition. And it also was quickly apparent that he had an ability to float an idea, start people who also served with him on the board, who were quite different than he was, thinking about that idea, and ultimately persuading them to adopt new public policy. He was an innovator on the Board of Supervisors. We saw much more land use planning. We saw more environmental planning. We saw more paratransit service. We saw the county taking a larger role in the public safety net. He understood that there were people out there who needed help from their government. And then in 1998, he was elected to the Iowa State Senate, where all of those qualities quickly surfaced among his fellow senators, who saw Joe as somebody from Johnson County who had sent a lot of outstanding legislators to Des Moines. And Joe had the same persuasive skills there very quickly. He was elected to majority and minority leadership posts. He served 6 terms, 24 years. And he actually remembers when he told me he was going to run for the state senate, I said, Joe, you know you're going to run for the worst personal political job in the state of Iowa. And I'm not sure he realized it then, but he remembered that conversation tonight and he told me I was right. Nonetheless, in spite of great personal sacrifice that Joe and other legislators give, he was very successful. The people of the state of Iowa are better off because Joe Bolkcom was there for 24 years. Tonight, you give him a recognition, a small recognition that he has earned and is well deserved. And I give you my friend Joe Bolkcom.
Good evening, everybody. I know I didn't want to follow Representative Mascher because she was so good. I didn't want to follow Pat White either. Well, good evening. Thanks for being here, everybody. I want to thank Pat White for the very generous remarks and our long friendship. Pat won election in 1969 as the youngest ever member of the Iowa City Council. Amazing. It's a long time ago. Pat has a trailblazing career as our Johnson County attorney from 1983 to 2006. Pat was a mentor and a pillar of support to me and so many others. In my early political career, he was always there with timely, practical advice. I found myself repeatedly sitting in his busy courthouse basement office among piles of legal files, getting advice and encouragement like I was seeing my therapist. For years, Pat led Johnson County's labor contract negotiations, always negotiated agreements that supported county employees and their families. My early years on the Board of Supervisors were turbulent ones. Many contentious meetings, lots of 4-to-1 votes. Pat White helped me through some challenging relationships and issues. Pat helped me grow and succeed as a politician and a political leader. Thank you, Pat. Thank you also the Johnson County Democrats for this important recognition tonight. Thank you Ed Cranston and Rod Sullivan for your work in recognizing Democratic activists that have and are making a difference. Congratulations to all the other award winners being recognized tonight for your contributions in support of Johnson County Democrats. It's an honor to be recognized along with my dear colleague and friend, Representative Mary Mascher. Mary's been a leading champion for reproductive freedom, marriage equality, our public schools, kids and families forever. If you're going to a fight, it was said earlier, you want to bring Mary along. Congratulations. I'd also like to thank and congratulate Bill Gerhard for his longtime support. He's done a great job over the years, many years of leading the Iowa State Building and Construction Trades Council, really building Iowa. But he's always been there to help Democrats win elections. Thank you, Bill. Thank you to all the people that have served on the Central Committee and its leadership roles. Elected officials owe so much of our success to the work of activists, both past and present. One longtime activist tonight deserves special thanks, and that's John Deed. Yes, it is, John. For 30 years, John has been a good friend and has helped me connect with voters and raise money for Democratic candidates. I relied on John year in and year out, and he was always there. Thank you, John. Let me also thank some trusted friends and advisors, a couple people that are not here tonight, Rusty Martin and David Lash, and one of my dear friends who is here tonight, Derek Maurer. Thank you for your support. So before I go any further, let me thank Chris Bell. Chris Bell, my dear partner, best friend, spouse, and sometimes handler. We actually met at the state capitol. Thank you for your great advice, love, and support. My career in politics has spanned 3 decades. Over this time, I've had the experience of knowing and working with 3 generations of Johnson County public servants and characters. And Representative Mascher mentioned a few of these folks, but from Minette Doder, Jean Lloyd Jones, Mary Newhouser, Rich Farm, Dick Myers, Charlie Duffy, Donna Sayre, Steve Lucina, Pat White, Tom Slockett, Sally Stutzman, Jonathan Jordal, Carol Thompson, Deb Conger, Bob Carpenter, Susan Horowitz, Bruno Piggott, Jim Fawcett, Al Axine, John Lundell, Pat Gilroy, Gene Martin, Wally Eggers, Pat Jensen, and Maury Costantino. The old guard, or pioneers, if you will. Over the past 20 years, I've served with my political peers and incredible public servants, Congressman Loebsack, Bob Dvorsky, Mary Mascher, Vicki Lensing, Dave Jacoby, Amy Nilsson, Kim Painter, Rod Sullivan, Kevin Kinney, Janelle Reddick, Janet Linus, Tom Cribbs, Lonnie Polkravic, Royce Ann Porter, Mazahir Salih, Ruthina Malone, J.P. Clausen, Patrick Hughes, Greg Hearns, and Jesse Case. Now we are the old timers. I'm inspired today to see a group of energetic, smart political leaders take the stage. Democratic leader Zach Walls, Janice Weiner, Christina Bohannon, Adam Zabner, Eleanor Levin, Bruce Teague, Megan Foster, Rachel Zimmerman-Smith, Brad Kunkel, Laura Burgess, V. Fixbar-Reyes, and Andrew Dunn. I've had the great honor to serve alongside some very talented, amazing people, activists, and public employees. During my time in the Iowa Senate, I served with Governor Vilsack, Governor Culver, and Senate Majority Leader Mike Grunstall. I got to work on all sorts of issues and served with some incredible Iowa Senate Democrats. My dear colleague, Senator Janet Peterson, has graciously joined us tonight. Janet from Des Moines, thank you for being here. Great to hear And like Representative Mascher, of course, I would not have served all these years without the strong and dedicated support of the people of Iowa City and Johnson County. Your support has allowed me to take positions and advocate for issues that push the envelope or made a point before people were ready for it. We've witnessed a lot of change over this time. Iowa has moved from being a competitive purple state to a bright red one. Our politics are more tribal and less collaborative. We have gone from a relatively healthy two-party system to one that resembles an abusive marriage, where one party, the mega GOP, has turned into an autocratic, abusive, racist, delusional, intolerant, cheating insurrectionist. Did I miss anything?
Say what you really think.
For better or worse, our system of governance has relied on 2 parties providing voters a choice about how we solve problems. That system is badly broken and our future is in grave doubt. Simply put, we have our work cut out for us. That's because Kim Reynolds and I Republicans have been grooming Iowans the last 7 years to impose their version of a white Christian nationalist nation upon all of us. They want to control how we live and what we think as they erase the line between church and state. Their faith-based ban on all abortions, their disdain for public education, and their decision to subsidize religious education by sending hundreds of millions of dollars of our taxpayers' dollars to private religious schools. Their obstruction of public school curriculum designed to teach racial history and equality and promote equality, their attack on diversity on our university campuses, book bans, and their despicable targeting of vulnerable trans kids should be a wake-up call to all freedom-loving Iowans. And believe it or not, since 2016, since Republicans took control over state government, they have approved approximately 50 different bills that have stripped local authority from local elected officials to make local decisions about our daily lives. 50 different pieces of legislation. They say they are for small government, but their Des Moines knows best dictatorial actions have taken away our rights, freedoms, and liberties. The mega Republican crusade to control how we live has not coincidentally coincided with the rise of their irresponsible political rhetoric, which has spawned violent, deadly results. While there are clouds on the horizon here in Iowa, there is real hope for change. Iowans just elected a new crop of progressive leaders to the Iowa legislature, and across America, voters rejected most of the extreme candidates. Americans have rejected bans on abortion and are showing their opposition at the ballot box. An inspiring new generation of young activists are being activated in Iowa and beyond to fight gun violence, address climate change, and protect LGBTQ rights. The 2024 presidential election is right around the corner. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have exceeded all expectations with generational accomplishments on the economy, infrastructure, climate solutions, and sustaining our very democracy. Joe Biden deserves and needs our support for a second term. Well, let me conclude by again thanking Pat White, Rod, and Ed, and all of you for being here tonight and for this award. Your support and friendship over so many wonderful years. Let me also share some personal news. This spring, I've been in the process of moving to Des Moines to join Chris, my dear wife. It is a bittersweet moment leaving my home of 38 years in Iowa City. But I'm not going away. Just going down the street about 118 miles. The People's Republic will always be my home. I'm so woke, and I'm so incredibly grateful for this experience and for all the lifelong friends that I've made along the way. Godspeed.
Now I'd like to bring up Justin Murray to introduce our next Hall of Fame recipient. Come on up, Justin. All right, one more time for all the award winners tonight, guys. Come on. Mary, what a speech. Can I vote for you again? Can you run for something? Can you go on American Idol just so I can have the opportunity? It's incredible. We're really happy to be here. Thanks for Kayla Maiden for showing up and taking a break from Xbox. It's great. I appreciate that. If you left it on, she could save your place. I was very happy when my mom asked me to do this. I'm happy to take a few minutes to brag about her. Well, you guys, it's rude for you to interrupt me to do so please don't. I'm going to brag. It's going to be great. I have a that's why. Some of you guys are a kid, and you might be wondering what happened to my hair. And the answer is 2 kids, so. You ready? It's a nice cut. 3? Yeah, you see how it is, right? Ron, if you have any shampoo recommendations, I could use something. Anything. My mom has been active in politics my whole life. You know what I mean? I kind of assumed everybody's mom was knocking on doors and trying to change the world. This is what I was normal. She's started knocking on doors 60 years ago. Isn't that crazy? 60 years ago. 17 years before I was born, and for many years after I moved out and continued to borrow money. She even outlasted doorbells. That's pretty impressive, right? You remember there used to be a button on your house you hit and someone would come and give a conversation, and now it's like a video app that texts your phone and stealing your packages, you know? So, crazy world. I didn't actually inherit my mom's sensibilities right away. It was 8th grade, we got assigned a volunteer project. It was supposed to be a full week project, so I came up with an idea. I called my friend Charles. Charles, bring your van over, I'm gonna volunteer. So he came over, and while he was coming, I grabbed about 10 or 15 sticks from my front yard, and he pulled his van up, and I was like, let's go. So we
We drove around to people's houses, and I would drop the sticks in their yard. I'd give them a thumbs up, and he'd take a picture of me picking them up. Get right back in the van, go to the next house, do it all over. A 4-week project, about 45 minutes, guys. It wasn't bad. B-. But I missed the point, right? Like, the work didn't matter, I just wanted the credit. And this is the whole point of the thing. Like that, you see that a lot these days, especially in our opposition, right? People are way more interested in taking credit or assigning blame than they are in showing up. When and where it matters most. Mom would show up, she'd come to your house. The thing about it, my mom was interesting is she never really wanted credit for anything, which was obviously strange to me. She did what she did for the love of doing it, because she actually loved talking to people and having these conversations, because she knew it needed to be done. My mom knew that consistency was the key to real change. She embodied that. And that's what it's about, right? Showing up, possibly when you're not wanted, but it's probably the most important place to be. She's an inspiration to me now more than ever. She's taught me a lot of lessons. She's taught me that shyness is easily overcome by the joy of other people, as I stumble through my written words. She embodied compassion every day with her volunteering, and her humor, and her willingness to listen to people. And she showed me the power of community, the length and the quality of her friendships. It can be easy to forget the reason a lot of the people in this room are here, because of a genuine love for people, because of a genuine love to help them. My mother embodied that every time she spoke to someone, and provided a great example for me. And I'm glad she did it, because honestly, that would have been filtered for pawing over attention for all these years. So I'm glad she could share this time with everybody else. Without further ado, please welcome my favorite person on earth to watch comedy TV with, my best friend, my mother, Summer.
I did not have any idea what he was going to say. So it's taking me a minute to react. I kind of started getting involved in politics when I was a junior in college at the University of Illinois in the 1960s. And there was an organization, the chapter of the NAACP on campus. Well, I assumed you had to be black to join it. And I found out about my junior year that you didn't have to. Anybody could. So I joined, and pretty soon I was sent out knocking on doors in Champaign-Urbana in support of the Civil Rights Amendment.
Yeah.
And in those days, there were dividing lines where the white people lived and where the black people lived. And so I went to parts of town I had never been to before. And I knocked on doors, and I met a lot of wonderful people. I was invited in to lemonade and cookies, and we sat and we talked, and I learned a lot. So I haven't done anything very extraordinary, but what I have done, I've done a lot, and the thing I liked most is knocking on doors and meeting with people and talking face to face. And I bet you're all have heard enough up here and you're about ready to move on to the next thing. So at this point, that's all I have. Thank you.
Special people tonight. So let's give them another big hand. Tonight, where Tom right over there. Hey, Tom. Her services right back here, taking videos, and Mary being nice for that beautiful management. Also, our hard-working course, Supervisor Rod Sullivan, Anne Marie Taylor right over here. Julie Person, award-winning Julie Person, as well as Bonnie McAreavy as well, another one of our winners. And over there, raising money. In fact, Suzanne just told me, see all those t-shirts over there? She wants to sell them. She's going to take $5 off tonight. $15 a t-shirt. You need it for the parade. So head on over and see Suzanne. So the bar is open. We have the room till 11. Let's enjoy ourselves. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you.